On New Year's Day, what a way to start off 2025 than the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. It's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it, even as I said in the post game Tennessee video that I made. I emphasized it's going to be a stressful game. It's going to be a hard fought game. But in the end, I think it's going to be just one of those games that you're like, okay, well, at least we got this far and we're going to, not that we're satisfied one bit. I mean, we're not. If we lose, you're going to see nothing but absolute just chaos and just a bunch of upset Buckeye fans, me included. So, it is kind of cool, and you always relish being in the playoffs. It's the first expanded playoffs too. So, what an opponent that we get to go up against in Oregon, a team that we just don't like. But a team that we get to play in the Rose Bowl. I'm excited for it. But yeah, let's dive into the matchup, man. But we look at obviously on October 12th, Oregon beat us 32-31 in October. There were some bad plays at the end there that really cost us. I mean, that pass interference on offense, when we were in range that moved us back. And then Will Howard, he's tried to slide in field goal range. And then unfortunately, it just didn't go away. But it was a heartbreaking loss. It was a crushing loss. But it was back and forth, man. I mean, you saw both teams on full display. The only issue that we had, Denzel Burke just could not cover anyone to save his life. I mean, he allowed, I think 3 touchdowns that game. Dillon Gabriel was running circles around him in the pocket, and it was just an absolute abomination of a game for Denzel Burke. But, as I said, I expect him to bounce back. I expect the whole defense to bounce back from this game and, view it as a sense of redemption. I mean, this is like a club that, obviously, outside of that horrible Michigan game, that's the club that beat us, and that was probably the only team that was, I don't want to say favored to beat us, but that were expected to beat us, being at home and everything, and we lost by a point. And I know Oregon's a much better team now than they were back then, but, still, I still think that we match up well against them, and they would say the same thing about us. I mean, I think they match up well, and I expect, a hard fought game just like that one. I expect a back and forth contest. I don't think any team is going to get, you know, too ahead of, one another. I think the deficit, it's going to remain within like 10, 12 points max because I see this being a really good game, man. But Oregon's a much, 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 much better team, as I said, than they were back then. And same with the Bucks, I guess you could say that. I mean, ever since that Michigan game, I feel like they do have a chip on their shoulder, which is good. I mean, you saw it on full display against Tennessee, and hopefully you see it again. Hopefully it's kind of like a revenge tour. Like, okay, well, we didn't beat our arch rivals, a team that we should have beat. Let's face it, we were more talented then, and playing at home and everything. Like, we should have beat them, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I hope that it lights a fire in them. Like, okay, well, now to make it up to our fans, we got to win the Natty because that's the only trade-off that you'll take from losing to Michigan. It doesn't matter, losing in the Natty still not enough. It's about championships. If we don't beat Michigan, a national championship is the only way that's gonna make up for it. And otherwise, Ryan Day's got to go. Period. I know a lot of people, like, I don't know why, but there's some IU fans that I saw saying fire Kirk Signetti. No, I would take him over Ryan Day any day. In spite of that Tennessee game, I mean, I still want Ryan Day. I want Ryan Day to stay because I want us to win. If we win the national championship and it means Ryan Day stays, I don't care. Because at least we got a national championship. So he has some credentials that he can say, okay, I was a Buckeye coach and I'm 1-4 against Michigan, but I still got a natty. Then everybody's got to just shut the hell up. But yeah, I expect a much better game from the defense, particularly the pass defense. And I think we got Dillon Gabriel, he stood there like a statue on some plays, and he had all day to throw. So I expect a lot better performance from that defense overall, the number one rated defense in the country. And, I expect, our secondary has not allowed a passing touchdown since that last Oregon game on October 12th, which is just insane to think about. And we allow less than 12 points a game. Even the Michigan game, we allowed 13. Tennessee, we allowed 17. So I expect a great game from our defense, but Oregon's a nasty opponent, and I'm not saying they're gonna not score more than 12. They definitely are, but you got to hold them in check. Their offense might still get theirs because that's how great Dillon Gabriel has been. But I still expect some of the playmakers on defense. Jack Sawyer, he can hopefully rise. And Caleb Downs has got to play great at the safety end. Denzel Burke's got to have a bounce back game. There's a lot of guys that need to step up for this team to have a chance to move on. And it's going to be just one of those things that our secondary is going to have to put on their best foot forward. And the defense is going to have to just continue to keep up the pressure on Oregon, man. So, for Dillon Gabriel to make mistakes, I don't know how you do it because he's been sensational this year. And there's a reason that they're undefeated, obviously. And the way that they just beat Penn State is very, very concerning. But still, I believe that, they got some little bit of juice. Obviously, they want to beat us. But, we beat Tennessee. And I expect, like I said, Oregon, no doubt they're going to have some rust. I mean, it's natural. And we've been playing more recently. So hopefully that also gives us a little bit of a boost. But still, man, you got to relish in the opportunity we have, and view it as a sense like, yeah, I know technically we are favored to win this game, but I still view it as a sense like we're viewed as underdogs. I'm not saying we should be underdogs. I'm just saying I view it as like how Buckeye fans should view it and how everybody else should view it. We are the underdogs just because of the season that Oregon's having, and I still have a lot of faith in this team, and I believe that they're going to put an angry attitude forward, and they're just going to take it out all on Oregon, who's a very, very good team. Because if they beat us in this game, I don't really see another team that can beat them. I could say the same thing about us. Like, if we're healthy, if we, just take care of business against Oregon, I don't see another team in the way. I mean, I have great respect for Texas, great respect for Georgia. I still don't see a team that can just straight up, like, I don't see any team that could beat us. I mean, they could put a great fight, but I still think that I'm confident in our guys that we'd come out on top. I guess that's the best way to put it. But, we look at Oregon, man. I mean, they're undefeated. As I said, Dillon Gabriel was having a monstrous game. He had a monstrous game against Ohio State in October, partially because Denzel Burke did not know what he was doing. He gave up 3 touchdowns on the receiving end, I believe, but he had over 300 yards. And Jordan James has been a monster all season. I mean, he has over 1,200 yards. He has 15 total touchdowns. So they're looking to just they're looking at us, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna keep on throwing to Denzel Burke because he could not guard us last time, and we also took out one of their receivers early out in the game. So their goal is to just look at Denzel Burke and be like, okay, well, he could not stop us that time, and I think his name was Trayshawn Holden, if I'm not mistaken, who got kicked out of the game. So hopefully he, can be held in check. But he spit on an Ohio State player. I believe it was Davison Ingboson. And we're going to need him to step up as well. We're going to need the whole team to step up. But Holden caught a 32-yard pass that went out, for a pass in the end zone. And unfortunately, he got thrown out. Unfortunately for them. Fortunate for us that he got thrown out. So we're going to need our defense to step up. We're going to need Caleb Downs to help Denzel Burke back there, help the corners, everything. Because, if that's not going to happen, they're going to lose. Plain and simple, they're going to lose if they can't guard the receivers. And if they allow Dillon Gabriel to have time while throwing, it's going to be a long day for that Ohio State defense. And you don't hear that a lot this year because of how sensational they've been. But I'm telling you right now, you give Dillon Gabriel time, you give the receivers time to get open, it is going to be a long day because I don't know if our offense is going to be able to match that completely just based on last time. I mean, they almost did, but it's a tough Oregon team, man. So, you got to start fast, and that's my keys to victory. I mean, you start fast, you pressure Dillon Gabriel, stop, the running back Jordan James. He's been monstrous this year. Run defense has to contain him. The offensive play calling has to be, just as creative as it can be. I mean, you talk about Chip Kelly. He got a lot of criticism. Ryan Day got a lot of criticism for that Michigan game because all they did was run the ball. I mean, they had receivers open and the the greatest receiving corp in the country, in my opinion. And, they just didn't target Jeremiah Smith enough. They didn't target, they just tried to feed the rock to Treveyon Henderson, and it just didn't go well. So I think hopefully they have a better sense of understanding who they have on their team the talent that's been placed on their roster, you have at your disposal. You have to use it. Denzel Burke, bounce back against these guys. Will Howard's going to have a Tennessee type of game because he's going to have a monstrous game, and I think that he can. And Caleb Downs, like I said, he's going to have to stop explosive plays through the air. And, you know, I really want this team to win, man. It's going to be a fun playoff and a fun game, but, you know, what'll make it more fun is if we come out on top. So I want to see that happen, and I really want to see just a big game from Will Howard, man. I really want to see just how he responds to the pressure, and you know, great start last week. You know, responding to the criticism that Will Howard got from the Michigan game. If he can keep it going, I think we're in good shape moving forward, and I feel good about our chances against the other teams. But as I said, it's no easy road to a natty. It's not even close. But I really think that this team can go into California and they can beat Oregon. I really believe that. A lot of people say that they just don't see it happening. I could see it. And as a matter of fact, my prediction for the game is actually 31-27 Buckeyes. I predict that they have a stronger, you know, bounce back defensively. Still not a perfect game. They're going to allow a couple boneheaded, you know, long passes or just runs by Jordan James. Like, I still see that type of game, but I still think, like, the defense knows what they gave up last time. Denzel Burke, like I said, they haven't allowed a passing touchdown since that game on October 12th. So I can see maybe they have just a little bit more motivation for revenge and redemption, and just like the way that we kind of lost the game, they can send a message like, hey, this is what should have happened to you on October 12th, and it just didn't. We let you off the hook, which they did with that pass interference, and I just expect a bounce back game, man. And I think Buckeyes come out top. You know, I can see it. I think Buckeyes have only lost to Oregon twice in 2021, and then obviously this past year. And, you know, I can see this is the second time these two were playing in the playoffs, obviously. 14 national championships, so I could just look forward to this one. And I'm just excited to see what this team does, man. But I'm excited. I hope all Buckeye fans are hyped. They should be. You know, Ohio State has been just craving for this opportunity at redemption, and they know that it's not just Tennessee that they have to do to make up for that Michigan loss. They got to win a lot. And we got some eyes on much bigger hardware, hopefully. And I have all the confidence in the world in these dudes, but it's going to take all of us. Not just one side of the ball. It's going to take all sides, even special teams. It's going to take, you know, our kicker to just freaking get it together, man. I don't, like, that Michigan game was just atrocious, and I expect, as I said, Jaden Fielding is going to have to just, like, he has to just be better. Period. So, I'm going to trust in everybody here, and it's a great way to open up the New Year's. As I said, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody out there as we approach the holiday. But, man, what a way to get started on this one. Anyway, you guys have a great one. Let's go Bucks, as always. I'm excited for this one, man. Every Buckeye fan should be nervous, but I am excited and ready to go. And, you know, let's go into this hyped, nervous, but hyped, and let's win this damn game over the Oregon Ducks. You guys have a great one. Go Bucks. OH.